God knows our heart. There's a reason that God's calling out to you. There can be some devastating consequences if we continue to ignore that. We don't have the control that we think we do. I was not turning my life over to Jesus. I would let my actions and my thoughts be dictated really by the world.
I work for the charity foundations of both the Royals and the Chiefs, and I was given the opportunity to be one of the coordinators for the Major League Baseball pitch, hit, and run. With that, I contacted Geoff because he was the commissioner of the Greenwood Baseball and Softball Association, asked him if he would be willing to open up their fields for us to do a competition. From that spawned a relationship. I watched him work so hard, and I sat back in awe of watching him work. He wasn't doing it in the strength that Jesus provided. He was doing it in his own strength, and he was so successful at it and such a giver. And I don't think I'd ever met a person who wasn't following hard after Jesus that was such a servant. We started meeting down on 150 at the McDonald's, met there pretty regularly. Things that would come up in his life he'd want to talk about. God did so many incredible things from that point.
When I met Mark, I knew he was just a loving man, a humble man, a man of Christ. I appreciated how hard he was working on things, and I wanted to be part of that. From there, we became friends. Mark invited me to sit with him and Mary at Abundant Life. It was emotional at first. My heart was still hardened, and Mark made it possible.
He had some deep-seated feelings towards things that had happened in his life that were painful. One of them is Geoff lost his sister several years ago, and there was some anger about that. Being able to walk with him step by step through D1, and then to be able to see that point to where he is saying, "Hey world, I'm all for Jesus." Having him say, I'm going to get baptized, and then ask me to baptize him was huge.
Heart posture is at the center of it all. Being honest with God, having that relationship with God, and allowing God in.
One morning I woke up, and God was as clear as anything. You need to get a hold of Geoff today. And so I called Geoff, and I said, let's go out and eat tonight. And we sit down, we ate. I just felt so impressed to say, Geoff, you need to quit isolating. And I'm a statistician. And when Geoff and I were talking, I figured out that he was spending 93% of his time alone, isolating in his apartment or just by himself. I said, Geoff, you got to get back into church. He hadn't been there for 6 weeks.
I went and worked out. I ran on the treadmill, and when I was running, I felt kind of the same chest pain that I always had, but I just thought it was in my lungs. I didn't know it was my heart at the time. So I finished running, and I went back to my apartment, and I ate some breakfast. And there was a moment there where I thought maybe I'll stay home again. The Holy Spirit just spoke to me plain as day, and told me to get back to community, go to church, get up and get in the shower. You got time to make church. I walked in the church, and I started kind of feeling hot and felt like I was going to pass out. So I tried to stop and kind of gather myself, and that was the last thing I remember.
I was thinking, man, is this really happening? The first aid team is just right around the corner from where Geoff was found down. I grabbed our medical bag and headed this way. I looked down, he was purple. He wasn't breathing, nor did he have a pulse. The AD arrived, we applied it, and then somebody started CPR immediately after he shocked him. I looked down, and his face was turning back to normal color, and he was starting to breathe. Within a minute, the East Summit Fire Department was there to take over care.
I woke up in the emergency room. They told me that I had 3 blockages in my heart, 95%, 70%, and 70%, and that I was going to be okay. That night, before I went to sleep, I was laying in bed. I was looking up at the ceiling tiles and, just having a conversation with God. Told him that I got it, like I get it. I was not putting God first in my life, and it was affecting everything in my life because of it. Where the heart attack occurred was at the same spot in the hallway where I dropped my ball in before I was baptized a couple years ago. I thought I trusted God before. Now I trust God. I understand God's power. I understand His love.